I think it's super important really early on in practice to differentiate between what is bypassing and what is capacity building. Sometimes some practices can be misunderstood, and some practices are blatantly bypassing. So I would really like to support you using mindfulness and somatic practices as a way for you to contain and to hold the totality of what you're experiencing from a place that is capable of being present and nurturing and supportive and compassionate and kind with what you're experiencing. Sometimes practices can be taught in a way where it lands as if the goal of the practice is to get rid of something, where we work within duality of like, this is good and this is bad, or we're trying to achieve this over this, and those are more bypassing. So when I offer a breath practice, I offer a mindfulness practice, I invite you to come into your seat of self. The goal is to not exile the discomfort. The goal is to place you in a position where you can be the presence, the arms, the foundation, the awareness that can hold the story of your parts, can hold the story of your exile, can be with the sensations of what you're feeling. And it requires, because when we're really deep in something, I have a teacher who Francis Weller called it grief is grieving itself, or Jung calls that the child complex. Basically, there isn't an adult, there isn't a self there witnessing and digesting and integrating and caring for and containing the experience. So it becomes so focused in, and we lose the objectivity of the experience, and we just become consumed into it. And when that happens, we can loop in experience, and we can also re-traumatize ourselves. So we're going back and being consumed by it. Somatic practices, mindfulness practices, enable us to be with what we're really experiencing. There's somebody there that has the ability to digest the emotional content, and so when I say like, oh, be mindful and like, move into your adult self or move into the seat of self, it is not with the intention of exiling the overwhelm or exiling the shame or exiling the fear or grief. We're just positionality. We're positioning you as the container, or us as the container that is aware and conscious and able to be relational with what you're experiencing. I hope that's clarifying it. If you ever have any questions about what the difference is between bypassing and being in your seat of self, or being the container, which is also called disidentifying from, it just gives you different positionality. When you're in the center of it, there's nobody digesting it, you're just swirling. We can get a little bit further out and a little bit further out, not separate from, but just like, oh, here I am, the one holding the truth of what I'm feeling and sensing. I'm not being consumed by it so much that I become all of that. Again, if you have any questions, I am, of course, always here because I really want to support you being able to be present with the truth of your experience and to be kind and compassionate with the totality of what you're going through, with all of your parts, with all of your feelings, with all of the charge from past events, with your grief, with your beauty, with all that you're going to create requires this capacity to be the loving, present witness and experiencer of your experience.